Plato's Allegory of the Cave, it tells the story of prisoners who are locked up and in a cave, and all that they can see are the shadows of passerbys walking by the cave. So when one of the prisoners is released, he can't at first recognize the actual things. All he can recognize are their shadows. But as time goes on and he actually realizes and sees the world for what it actually is instead of just what he saw in the cave, his perspective opens up and he gets a better sense of what the truth actually is. And that's really what we're going to be talking about in this podcast, is how the perception affects truth. And when this prisoner, the freed prisoner, goes back to the other prisoners who are still locked up in the cave and tries to explain this marvelous the vision of the truth, they don't believe him. They think he's gone crazy because they don't know what he's talking about. They have no idea of what he's saying, and because of that, they think he's crazy, because all that they know is that the shadows are the world and anything that's not is crazy. So Mooney's going to go into a little more depth on this right now.
So Plato's story, it's useful, it gets the point across, but the idea of these prisoners trapped in a cave is it's a very strange, kind of artistic way of portraying this message. So I was wondering, what are some of the things that we see in our lives, or what we saw in our lives, that kind of apply this same principle, that our perception of the world isn't always exactly what's really there?
Now, external factors are the main thing that shape our perception of the world and the truth that's held by the world. Now, we all believed in Santa Claus when we were young, and this was caused by many factors, whether it was our parents telling us to, or the media pushing it. But no matter how it happened, we all did. So why we believe in this thing that is widely not believed now as we're older? Well, this is because that our parents told us that it was true, and that from an early age, our perception of the world and the truth behind it is shaped by what we're told, what we see, and what we see in our environments.
So another example that supports this theory that Plato really does get across to us through his allegory is the example of a colorblind person. Us that can see all the colors, we know the difference between red, orange, yellow, blue, green, purple, and so many other colors. But to a colorblind person, all that they can really distinguish is black and white. So because of this, we see the entire truth. We see all the colors, and a colorblind person doesn't, because that's just how he sees. He sees, all he could see is black and white. So that's just what he envisions as the truth. He doesn't expect that there's a whole array of colors just existing in the world, because he hasn't seen it for himself. He doesn't know it exists, and therefore he doesn't think about it. He just focuses on what he knows. And that's why I really believe that perception, the truth is really all just based on perception. It's based on what you think, and it differs from what another person thinks based on their perspective.
Another example of how external factors can affect a person's perception, especially in today's world, is terrorism. Terrorism exists in many forms. One major one that I'm sure we all know right now is ISIS. ISIS exists in several regions in the Middle East, and they bring up their children to believe in their ways and perform actions that are deadly, that we've all seen. They tell their children how to kill and justify what they have done, because they believe that killing anyone who's against them is the right thing. The children know better, because they were always brought up to believe this, and their external factors have led their perception to be that killing is right. It's obvious in both Plato's Allegory of the Cave and all of our examples that external factors can affect a person's perception on many different topics.